This is Tyler Henry. He's famous for talking to dead people, like Robin Williams.
A couple weeks ago, I was just hanging out. I heard Robin Williams come through.
If real, Tyler's ability would be one of the most significant discoveries in mankind's existence. The wheel, electricity, the atom bomb, Tyler Henry. But there's also a more logical explanation for Tyler. He's a liar.
Hello, Tyler. How are you?
That, of course, is Matt Lauer. Matt is sometimes referred to as a journalist. NBC News even gave him the important duty of moderating a presidential town hall. That went okay. So how did Matt Lauer end up here, enchanted, holding back tears, and incorrectly saying the name of the man who allegedly made contact with the soul of his dead father?
With Tyler Henry, you never know where you're going to go.
Let's start with a little history on Tyler. He left nursing school to become a psychic.
You were doing your hospice study.
Right.
What was the inciting thing where you said I can full-time pursue this?
Well, I really was trying to just supplement going to college. I started finding that the demand for readings was just overwhelming, and I ultimately either had to make the choice of doing hospice nurse homework or doing readings. Yeah. And ultimately I found that readings actually were a way to comfort people in a very unique way.
From there he met an agent and a producer, and suddenly he had a television show. On every episode, Tyler reads a handful of stars, and celebrity after celebrity is blown away by his abilities. Moby, Snooki, Lil Jon.
Yeah!
But while Tyler may be a young, fresh face, the techniques he appears to be using are pretty old. Some might even say basic. My request for a personal reading from Tyler was denied. So to break down how his psychic process works, we'll return to our dear friend, Matt Lauer. Tyler asks his clients to bring a personal item to spark a spiritual connection.
Tyler started by asking for a pocket knife I'd brought. He didn't know it once belonged to my maternal grandfather.
Notice how Lauer says it belonged to his mother's father. This is the last time you'll hear anything about his mom's side of the family. Now with the knife, a masculine heirloom, Tyler says he's receiving energy from a father-type figure.
This doesn't come through as a grandfather, but this is coming through in a fatherly kind of an essence.
This looks exactly like a cold reading, a method of using context clues to make high probability guesses. But it's important to always have a way out. So he hedges. It's not a father necessarily, it's a fatherly essence. Next, he refers to dying, a pretty common thing for dead people.
Okay, this man is immediately going to have me talk about the passing. Let's see what this is.
From there, he tries talking about a phone being held to someone's ear.
And he showed me the symbol of a phone being held to one's ear when they're in an unconscious state.
That doesn't seem to ring any bells, but it doesn't matter. It's a symbol.
When they show that symbol, that to me always acknowledges, that they were ultimately told by family, it's okay.
He moves on quickly. This is called shotgunning, aka rattling through a bunch of stuff super quickly until something sticks. As he does this, you can see something start to click inside Matt, despite the fact that Tyler hasn't specified anything personal beyond a handful of common situations. This is called the BARNUM effect, a phenomenon where people feel a close personal connection to an extremely generalized description, like a horoscope. Tyler keeps with the common tropes.
There's a feeling of appreciation. It's I refuse to die surrounded by doctors.
Matt is flabbergasted.
Whether he knew it or not, Tyler was talking about my father, who passed away in 1997. At his request, he spent the last few weeks of his life at home, under hospice care.
Now that Matt is in the palm of his hand, Tyler tries something more specific.
So strange. He's showing me a reference to a coin, and I don't know why this is coming through in the way that it is, but he's showing me, and it may not click right now, but he's referencing to these coins, and it's a coin collection. It's a very random, specific, old, archaic thing.
I have a couple of silver dollars from him, but not a lot.
A couple usually means two, but it can sometimes mean more than that. So Tyler uses a clever trick to be specific, but vague.
There's actually a reference to having three, and then I feel like I have to acknowledge either missing one or misplacing one, and then I talk about two. How many do you have knowing?
I think I have two.
Okay, well there's a third.
I think I have two.
Yeah.
Tyler's on a roll, so he tries another seemingly specific, but also common or worst case scenario symbolic, story.
He's just showing me a vision of a bird flying into a house and having to get this bird and trap this bird.
And it works.
I don't know if you have to run up and grab a box and capture it and throw it out. So
He's had that happen.
that's happened.
Tyler then gets a little personal.
So you have a susceptibility to something called sleep apnea.
It has been brought to my attention that I might snore just a little bit.
This could easily be what is called a hot reading, which is when a medium has gathered information ahead of time from ancestry data, social media, or from TV.
On occasion, I will admit that I have kind of awakened myself with a kind of a little snore. I did wake myself up the other day with one of those god-awful grunting snores, open mouth.
Having now gone far beyond any reasonable connection to Matt's maternal grandfather's knife, Tyler doubles down on his obviously evocative connection to Matt's father.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but he's acknowledging that an individual will be out on a boat, and I feel like I'm sitting alone and I'm fishing, and I'm thinking Dad. And he's having me acknowledge this feeling of like, I'm there with you, I'm there with you.
My dad shared two passions with me. He shared golf and fishing.
This could either be a cold reading or hot reading. Matt's love of fishing is far from secret. In an old NBC News blog post, he said, "I have two passions, both instilled in me by my father, golf and fishing." And from there, Tyler proceeds with some standard pleasantries. Matt's father wants to say he's proud of his son. He wants to know he's happy. And Matt gets to speak back.
Tell him I'm happy. Because of him.
Absolutely. And you know what? He knows.
Viewed through a certain lens, Tyler's readings are kind of endearing. He gave Matt Lauer closure, happiness even.
What you do comforts people and entertains them. Do you think it ultimately matters if someone believes you or if you have some sort of proof for them?
Right. I would say from just doing the show alone, we've done over 110 readings now. So these people have started off as skeptics, believers, all across the board. But I don't think that we inherently logically have to understand something in order to benefit from it. We're still able to find a sense of comfort.
And if Tyler gives the people he's talking to comfort, what's the harm in that, right? Well, there's a lot of harm, both to the celebrities he's reading and to the people watching who believe that Tyler is the real thing. For starters, Tyler gives health readings.
You should be a doctor. I don't need to go to the doctor now. I'm good.
People like Tyler also contribute to fake news. Countless news outlets, for whatever reason, take what Tyler Henry does at face value.
It's amazing.
We want to let you know, Season 2 of Hollywood Medium with Tyler Henry. It almost seems weird to be doing it as a promo right now because it was so much more important to me than a promo. It premieres Wednesday, August 10th on our sister network, E!
But most egregiously, what Tyler does targets the vulnerable, the grieving. And sometimes, that false hope can actually be dangerous. Like when Tyler purported to reconnect Michael Sam, who has suffered through mental health issues in the past, to his brother, who's been missing and presumed dead since the late 90s.
I got the chills, weird. I definitely don't get a deceased vibe. I get absolutely no feeling on the other side at all, even remotely.
Tyler says he would be willing to have his abilities tested under the right circumstances.
Would you ever do like a controlled validation test to like prove your abilities to some skeptics out there?
I think skepticism is an important thing, and I think that I would love to be able to go and undergo testing to some extent to be able to figure out the span of what this is.
What are the elements of the test that are...
I see.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Let me think on that one. Because it's hard to know necessarily what would be controlled. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to establish what would be a controlled setting, because that's up to scientists, not really me.
So we reached out to the Independent Investigations Group, who said they would be more than happy to help.
We have people who are experts in the field of psychology and other areas that pertain to assessing whether someone actually has this ability. We would work with them to design a test that's fair and gives him an opportunity to demonstrate his ability.
We extended this offer to Tyler Henry, but his team has not responded to multiple requests for comment. Regardless, Tyler has always been defensive about his intentions.
I would say that in every reading that I do, the goal is to provide closure. And parents who lose children need closure more than anybody.
But the only thing stunts like Tyler's should give closure to is any belief that there's truth in the supernatural, or reality TV.
It is possible, though, that he might still be alive.
Well, it gives me hope then.
Yeah.